...2010 was a huge year for Pac-Man. At least, that's what the press release says. The yellow icon celebrated 30 years in gaming, and what's more impressive is that he was actually relevant for like a third of that time. It's perfectly fitting that to celebrate the anniversary of a character they would still have you believe is a gaming A-lister, Namco put out something like this. Pac-Man Party was a birthday celebration in the same way your parents throw a party for your grandma on her 97th birthday. People show up, but she doesn't even know who they are, and the whole event is basically just an excuse to get some cake. That's what Pac-Man Party was for the Nintendo Wii, and to really celebrate the occasion, why not bring that same awkward gathering to the Nintendo 3DS? Ugh, happy belated birthday, Pac-Man. It's Pac-Man Party 3D. Pac-Man Party 3D is a port of last year's Wii game. That's a fact. If you'd like to hear an opinion, insert the adjective mediocre into that sentence twice. This is a game for the theoretical audience that plays a Mario Party game and then thinks, oh, if only there were less content, worse minigames, and a character who should never appear in 3D, ever. The objective in Pac-Man Party 3D, aside from staying awake, is to collect cookies. Once you've collected a certain amount of cookies, you win, but you literally have to collect 12,000 cookies. That's not even a number that makes sense, but of course, nothing in Pac-Man Party 3D does. And why cookies? When has Pac-Man ever expressed a taste for baked goods? He eats cherries and strawberries and free-floating, full-torso vaporous apparitions. But it's not just that this game doesn't make sense. It doesn't make fun either. The entire game is built around minigames, so literally everything you do requires you to play some terrible minigame. So you can't just roll the dice to move, you have to throw the darts and pop balloons and waste your time. Once things get started, Pac-Man Party 3D is like Mario Party meets Monopoly. You have to build castles on empty spaces, which draws a landing tax of cookies from your opponents, and you can play minigames to steal castles from other players. It's actually kind of an interesting idea, but one of the problems with Pac-Man Party 3D is that the minigames just aren't any fun, and what's worse, they're clearly designed for a pointer, not a touchscreen. And speaking of which, the minigames were just thrown onto the 3DS with no changes or adjustments for the platform. It's a straight port, and what were already generic minigames suffer because of that. Along with its obnoxious load times and poor presentation, this drives the point home that Pac-Man Party 3D just isn't a very well-made game. Oh, how the mighty have fallen, they say. His 30 years started with some incredibly iconic games. Some of the best games of all time. Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man, and Professor Pac-Man. I guess the truth is that the Pac-Man series, as in post-1982, has never given us many games to celebrate, and that's why Pac-Man Party 3D is such an appropriate summation of the character's legacy. This is a mediocre game starring a guy who wasn't mediocre once.